Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She is coming straight from the Berg. She is none other than Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend? How was your week?
It would have been a little better if the Steelers remember how to play football,
But they had some nice jerseys on.
Oh, you like them? Everybody hates them up here. Like, they hate those jerseys, but
Really? I think it was
yeah,
the
I mean,
pants. I wouldn't have gone with the pants. The tan pants was not a good look.
they're trying to go for like a throwback jersey, which I understand, and I like the front of them, but then the back just seems so like disgusting in comparison because it's just solid black letters and numbers, but maybe that's why we lost so badly. I don't know, but
Well,
I don't know. It could be worse, I guess.
yeah,
But
you could be the New York Giants.
yeah, that is true. That is true.
No, but contrary to what you're listening to, this is not an NFL podcast. Shay and I discuss all the happenings in the world of professional wrestling on this podcast. And today is very fun. We get to go back to our original format and take some of your questions about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. A lot of questions wanted to be asked this episode because we've been kind of bombarded with pay-per-views and PLEs and having to do recaps and all that stuff that we haven't been able to get back into what we usually do, and that's answering your questions about what's going on in wrestling.
Yeah, it's been a minute because I feel like if there wasn't a pay-per-view, there was always just a like recap of a pay-per-view. So
Right.
it was just one after the other. But here we are. We finally got our questions. We got quite a few.
Yeah.
And I figure we'll just full disclosure for this episode. If it seems like we may be kind of or speeding through some of these questions a little bit, we're kind of working against the clock, not because of Erik, but because of me, because my electric company is changing power stations tonight and are possibly shutting my power off at 10 o'clock. So can't control that, unfortunately. So
yeah, so we're gonna hustle it up and get a move on. We're gonna answer them. I'm gonna try as best as I can not to go on a rant or anything like that.
And it's the worst time to do it because looking at some of these, I'm like, oh, we could really go on some rants with these, but we'll try to keep it succinct. We'll try and keep it. Not gonna maybe succeed. Who knows? It just depends on how riled up we get. But
let's see how it goes.
Let's go for it. All right, so we're gonna start off with Mom's questions, or in comments. So her first comment was, congrats to Blake Monroe, obviously on winning the NXT Women's North American title.
Yes.
She said, I was very happy. Yes, I was. It kind of sucks for though, because I like Zarya and Sol Ruka, so that kind of sucks seeing all of that.
Right.
But I feel like once they kind of had, Zarya had taken the fall for Sol and I'll defend the title for you. We all kind of knew what was going to happen. It was the writing was on the wall, but it was a pretty good match though, from what I could see.
I actually got to watch that show. I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I ended up getting a login for Peacock, so I was able to watch the show. And that whole show, top to bottom, including that match, Blake Monroe and Zarya, was really good. The show was really good. NXT is just great TV. It's very digestible, easy TV, and very happy for Blake Monroe. I know she's like kind of like this is her dream. She's really in her element now that she's getting to work for NXT and WWE subsequently, and that's kind of where she's always wanted to be. Even when she was in AEW, kind of AEW was working against a dream, which is kind of hard to do. So shout out to Blake Monroe for accomplishing everything that she's gonna do, and like she's gonna make big waves, especially when she gets to the main roster. She's gonna fit right in with the Stephanie Vicares, the Io Skies, the Asukas. She's gonna fit right in, and she's kind of a hybrid of, she's got the diva looks, but she can kick your ass kind of like an Io Sky or an Asuka, hard hitting, so she's got it all working together for her. So yeah, she's gonna be a big deal in a few years' time.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm kind of surprised that they almost kind of had the breakup with Sol and Zarya right away, because when Zarya's like shoulder got messed up and Soul kind of like pushed her into the ring post. I think
Yeah.
everybody kind of just collectively held their breath for a minute until you realized she was helping. But
Yeah.
it's almost kind of unfortunately a matter of when, not if. But yeah, it's gonna suck when those two break up because I like those two as a team. They're great, but it's almost like that's kind of the whole point of this is to, I don't know. It's gonna suck, but if anyone's gonna ruin it, it's gonna be Blake. She does like to break up households and
Yeah,
friends and family.
she's definitely a homewrecker.
Yes, she is, and you know what? I would not complain, but that's just me. So anyway, what in our opinion has been the best and worst match in any promotion this year?
Oh wow. Getting almost to the end of the year actually.
I
So
know.
we might have to start working on our end of the year episode. We only got a little bit of time left. The year is, as of this recording, the 28th of October. So the year is flying
Yeah.
by really.
Yeah, I feel like I can't really think of like terrible matches off the top of my head. However,
Mm,
I feel like we'll just say that just for what we expected versus what we got, I think it could be easy to say the I quit match.
mm,
I feel like that would be pretty easy just based off of this is what the expectation was, this is what
mm.
we wanted, this is what we should have got, and this is what we got instead. And it was a massive letdown. Like we already talked about it last week. It was a terrible match. Just not so much for the fact of the match itself. It was just what it was hyped up to be versus what it actually ended up being was just it was just
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So I can say that one maybe, but then uh best those tough because there's a lot of those.
Yeah, I was gonna go for the best. I was gonna go John Cena, AJ Styles. I
Yeah.
honestly think that might carry into my match of the year just because it was a fun wrestling match. It was an homage to their old rivals, but in a sense, there were so many homages that it was kind of like as they say, a love letter to wrestling. You know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and that's what it felt like. Not only that, but it was a damn good match. It was a damn good wrestling match that kind of kept you intrigued and kept you on the edge of your seat watching and seeing what was going on. So that was definitely my best. My worst, I didn't have very many worst that I can go through, but one that kind of sticks out as a sore thumb is Big Bill versus Eddie Kingston.
Oh God, yeah.
That one kind of sticks out sore thumb as far as like glaringly obviously bad. I tend to
Yeah.
forget the bad and remember the good, but that was just so glaringly bad that sticks out in my memory, so
Yeah, that one's definitely understandable. Oh God, that ending just still just fucking annoys me. I feel like my best one, and it's so sad that this is still a 2025. It just shows you how time speeds along, but then doesn't at the same time. I still have to go with the Hollywood ending. Like,
mm,
you can't, which is sad because I had to look at it just to make sure I wasn't being like, oh, was this like at the end of 24? No, it was
yeah,
February of
wow,
25. Yeah, it
wow,
was. I know. I'm like, nah, this was last year. And I'm like, oh, no, actually, it was this year. So
wow,
it happened. It was a thing that happened. So that was good. But yeah, no, the Hollywood ending was just, that was also kind of like the same reason for, my reasoning for why I thought the whole I Quit match was bad was just the fact of everything leading up to it and everything for the year and a half between Mariah and Tony. And then the match itself was really good. So yeah, I just have to, just based on the storyline and the spectacle of that whole match, I have to give it to Hollywood ending for sure.
yeah, definitely. Wow, I thought, yeah, I can't believe that this is all happening in the same year.
I know. It's like, because again, I double checked it just to make sure so I didn't sound like a total idiot. And then it's like, yeah, no, Mariah didn't become Blake until June of this year. So she's only been with NXT for 4 months, which is,
Mm.
like I said, time exists but also doesn't exist. It's just wild.
It
But
is.
yeah, we'll probably be bringing those matches up again towards the end of the year. So
Yeah.
we'll start getting those ready. All right. So next one is if we could swap. Oh boy, if we could swap a male and female wrestler to a different company, who would we pick?
Mm.
That's. Oh god, that's just
Ooh, that is tough.
possibilities.
Yeah, that is tough.
I feel like. Oh, god damn. I feel like this is just kind of like a creative liberty one, so we can just take it based off of we just would want to see it just for the hell of it. It would be very interesting to see somebody like Jamie Hayter or Tekla in WWE just
Ooh.
because of yeah, like the strength and the power and the just of course obviously the easy ones going, oh, just go against Rhea, but the possibilities for those two would be endless in WWE. So for the females, I mean I lied, I did take two instead of one, but we can change the rules on here, it's fine. Male. It's a tough one.
Male, I feel like like AEW needs a couple bad guys,
Yeah,
for
Dom.
Hangman. Who would be a good pairing for Hangman? I was thinking maybe Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he did go on Dom just to be a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, Dom would be good, but you're essentially taking, WWE's best bad guy and shipping him away.
Yeah, well, it just be like that sometimes.
Yeah, Dom would be good. Who else?
It's tough because, like I said, the possibilities are endless. They're
Yeah.
really just endless.
I feel like the Street Profits would do really good in
Ooh.
AEW.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
I feel like they would excel in AEW as like the top tag team.
Yeah. You know what I just realized too? I feel like, again, we can make our own rules on this one. Didn't exactly have to say like from what company or if they were just, not with a specific promotion right
Mm.
now. Because if we want to talk about bad guys, Killer Cross
Yeah.
in AEW, that would be fucking fantastic. But
Yeah, and he's before people thought that wasn't a possibility because of some legal issue, but now
yeah,
he says that's all out the window. If they definitely want us there, we're definitely interested in talking. So that would
yeah.
be really really cool to see Killer Cross in AEW, and I don't know why that hasn't had. I feel like that could be AEW's next big surprise. They do the
Oh,
whole lights out thing, and then the lights come back on, and he's standing in the middle of the ring, and
they do love the lights out thing, don't they? They do
they
that for
love them some lights out surprises.
literally with everybody. I will say though, especially with him and Scarlett, I would definitely, if you haven't seen it already, and to the listeners, obviously, I would definitely recommend watching his documentaries on YouTube. They're just very fascinating. He is a very well-spoken, intelligent guy,
Mm,
and we always say like we always have talked about like Malachi Black being one of the most like creative minds in wrestling. Killer Cross is pretty up there too. Like the dedication he has and just like the energy he has for wrestling is just insane,
mm,
and kind of getting a little bit of the behind the scenes scoop of what was going on really kind of makes you look at WWE in a little bit of a different way. And of course, you're never going to know the full story. And of course, he legally probably can't say everything that happened, but
mm.
the stuff that we've seen in the documentary and on his like him and Scarlett's episode of Chris Van Vliet's podcast, it's like, wow, they really did WWE really did them dirty
Mm.
multiple times. So yeah, I would definitely say check it out because it's a very fascinating couple watches. I think he has a couple different parts. I think he had one like right when I think it was right before he was released or right when he got released.
Hmm.
There's at least yeah, like I said, there's at least I think two or three maybe. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. They're pretty cool.
Definitely got to go check that out.
Yeah, no, trust me, they're long. I think the last one was about an hour and a half, I believe,
Mm.
but they're definitely worth the watch, though. It'll fly by.
Yeah.
All right, mom's last comment is apparently Roman's mom had passed recently,
Oh
so
no.
we're sorry to hear about that. Yeah, because I think I think both his parents are gone now, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, that's sad. And it's just,
Condolences.
yeah, losing one's bad enough, but then losing another or both of them is just, not good.
Yeah, wow. That sucks.
Yeah. All right, so that was all of Mom's questions and comments. So, Mom, thank you as always.
Thank you, Mom.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to Mike's. So far, we're doing we're doing good. We're time. We're keeping it on schedule here. We're keeping it on schedule here. So, all right, so let's see. All right, so why is Twitter not working? I sort of got Twitter not working. Something new. Okay. So Mike's first question is obviously AJ Styles says he's retiring in 2026. Who do we want to be his last opponent?
That's a good question. It's kind of tough because like his biggest rivalry is he already had the match with John Cena, you know?
Yeah.
So he already got that out of the way.
Hard to top that.
Yeah, and yeah, it's hard to top that. So I would figure he would probably want to work with a younger talent to kind of put them over on his way out because most of his rivalries, can no longer go. Kurt Angle can't go anymore. Sting can't go anymore. So all of and like I said, the one main rivalry that he had in WWE was against John Cena, and they put the feather in that cap already. So I think it's going to be one of those situations where they build up a situation where he could put somebody, a younger talent over. It's kind of hard to figure out who though.
Yeah, it's tough because you almost just want to selfishly say, yeah, just go back with Cena one more time because why the hell not? But clearly they're not going to do that. So
maybe a small little program with CM Punk would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Because I know people were really excited when they mixed it up not so long ago. So like maybe a little program maybe surrounding the World Heavyweight Championship. Because that's going to be a thing that's happening this Saturday night's main event, so
maybe, I mean, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say maybe a little program with CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship would be fun. A nice little send off for AJ Styles.
Yeah, I would agree with that because I feel like at this rate, they're going to have Punk win the title because I feel like if Jay wins again, people are going to fucking riot because they were not too thrilled that he got that position in the first place. But
yeah, it's so weird. Like,
yeah,
it's the internet audience and the live audience have always been going in two different directions. The live audience loves Jey Uso and they go crazy when his music hits and they love the entrance and they love to see him in the ring. And then the online audience is just like, oh my God, Jey Uso again, this guy. So it's like a clear disconnect. But the thing is that people have to always understand is that WWE is always going to listen to the live audience more because the live audience is the ones that's paying the tickets to go to the live show. The live audience is the one that's generating all this record-breaking revenue that WWE has been acquiring. So they're going to listen to that audience more than the online audience. I think they flat out just say they don't even care what the online audience has to say. They really just don't judge it or anything on that. So it's just so weird. The reaction to Jey Uso on both sides of the coin, where online he's not. I call it Jey Uso burnout. I think that's what it is. I think that's what I think to an extent as a fan I'm feeling it too. A little bit of Jey Uso burnout. Like I don't think his title reign, his initial title reign, did him any favors to make him look like a main event player.
No, and I think it also, you have to kind of couple that with the fact that I think a lot of people wanted LA Knight to be in that position. Right. So, because it's getting to the point now with a lot of people where it's like, what more does this guy have to do to get that spot and to get that shot? And he hasn't. And it's kind of mind-boggling why they're just not at least doing it. Because let's be honest, Punk's going to already win this title. I think that's a very fair assumption. So if that's already a foregone conclusion, why wouldn't you just have like LA Knight in the other spot? Because whoever is against Punk's losing anyway,
Mm.
and just give LA Knight that opportunity to show that he belongs in the main event scene. And then a lot of people are kind of in agreement that they haven't been giving him those opportunities, and maybe that's why. That might have something to do with it too, I think, on top of the burnout.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
It's wild. It's because even when I saw it on Twitter, I'm just like, again, like we're really doing this again with Jay. But all right, I think they said that was that video of him winning the battle royal or the whatever. I think they said that was the lowest rated or most disliked video of WWE's this year.
Yeah, but which
So,
is kind of crazy because I like the way that battle royal situation was set up, where his brother saved his butt twice in the battle royal, and the first chance he got to eliminate his brother, he took it. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
They kind of squashed that story, but I'm like, oh man, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just sometimes just some questionable decisions that make you just scratch your head. But
For sure.
who knows? That's why we're sitting here, I guess. But okay, so next question's a very loaded question. Have we kept up with the whole Masha Slamovich allegation situations?
Not since the initial like start of it.
Yeah.
I
I don't think there really has been anything.
Yeah, like it's a crazy situation because it's always people you wouldn't expect, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously for any of our listeners that don't know what's going on, apparently there was a former partner of Masha's who's, I think it was friend, had went on Twitter or something and pretty much was accusing her of domestic abuse against her partner. And so obviously TNA opened up an investigation into it. And the thing that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way was her like statement, or at least part of it, because she didn't really take accountability or anything. She kind of was essentially, and actually I think I pulled up a quote right here, up until the beginning of this year, I was in a toxic and mutually destructive relationship.
So she's
like,
kind of skirting the blame.
Yeah, it's like, well, we hurt each other deeply and we failed to treat each other with the respect we both deserve. And I take responsibility for my actions and I'm ashamed for the role I played in our relationship. And it's just like, could you have worded that any worse? Because the fact that you didn't apologize until the end of that part of the statement and pretty much kind of blamed the other side of it, where it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I may have been a terrible person, but the other person was also terrible. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't also excuse the fact that you were a terrible person, and right now you're the one that's being accused. Because of course we're never going to find the actual truth. That's just how this goes. Like we always say, there's always one side, the other side, and the truth somewhere in the middle. So who knows what the actual truth is? But the fact of you're kind of half-assing that apology is not doing you any favors. And from what I remember when that first came out, people were not buying it at all.
Yeah, like, it just seems like a lot of these apologies nowadays from these bigger
apps.
the
app apologies.
They feel very like AI generated, like, you know, I was
gonna say they just stuck it in Chat GPT.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, you know, that they can't really, again, they don't know how to speak and like eloquently put out statements that they need to run it through a AI machine so that way they could, you know, put out a statement. It's just crazy. It's just bad news. It's just bad news. Like it's but I mean, it's also like the again, back to the online culture. This is just something that's gonna not necessarily blow under the rug, but there's also going to be another scandal or a thing that's going to come out in a few weeks. And then another thing on top of that. It's just never ending. You know, it's never ending. It's like, where are the good people? Where are the good people? When do they come forward?
I don't know. It's just, I feel like, at least with how she handled things, you kind of already know that if you're in her situation, you're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment, because a good portion of the online fan base is not going to believe a word you say anyway, but to throw gasoline on the fire, and hypothetically, yes, even if that was true and the relationship on both ends was just bad, I think the last thing you want to do if you're the one that's being accused is come out and just not just take responsibility. And you don't have to say, well, I mean, it wasn't just me, it was them too. It's like,
Right.
okay, well, you're already behind the eight ball at that point. So I think the last thing you need is to make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So just shut up and just say, yes, I fucked up. I apologize. I'm going to work on being a better person or whatever the hell they say now. But it's just like, sometimes you don't need to add the extra stuff.
Right.
It's word salad that makes you look even worse.
Right.
But yeah, it's not great. And I don't know. I don't think TNA's done with their investigation. I think, like I said, I looked it up before we came on, and the last article or whatever I could see was from a month ago saying TNA opened the investigation, and since then it's been nothing. So who knows what's going to come of that?
Interesting.
It's like you say, it's always something though.
Yeah.
Like that's already bad enough. Somebody else is going to do something, and it's just like, can you guys just be decent people for 5 seconds, please? We're tired. We're so tired.
Very.
So this is a question for me. Who would I cheer in a Logan Paul Brock Lesnar match?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll turn the TV off. That's my answer.
Ooh.
Like,
You
I'm
wouldn't
not.
even watch it.
No, of course I wouldn't even watch it. Like, what the hell's the point of that? Like, did Mike really expect me to answer that question one way or the other? Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like, not
my
happening.
dumb ass would try to rationalize something and be like, well.
Yeah, no, there's no rationalizing with me and those two. It's like the cable box would be shut off.
Wow.
So, no, not happening.
Wow.
Yeah, whatever. If he doesn't like my answer, he can deal with it.
I'm sure he's going to get a kick out of it.
He's gonna laugh about it either way. I just do what I can to entertain, I guess, even if it's at my expense. All right, so we talk from one scandal to another.
Ooh.
What is our take on the whole Gail Kim, Riho, Kenny Omega mess?
Oh. Ooh.
So obviously for the listeners who don't know what that's all about, when was this? It was, I think, earlier this month, I think. It was at the beginning of the month. So Gail Kim pretty much said she wasn't like comfortable watching Riho and AEW because the way they kind of presented her as like this little girl kind of character, and camera shots would be going up her skirt and whatever, and that she didn't think she was built as a believable opponent for anybody on the women's roster in AEW, which I mean, that was already a bit of a mess. So clearly the internet wrestling community had a field day with that one. But then Kenny Omega got involved. And you go after Riho or anybody like that, Kenny's going to be saying something.
Kenny
and
is very protective of Riho.
Yeah, but his response also did not help his case either, because all right, so word for word, it was another day, another quote unquote legend doing the splits on it for the yearly TKO gift basket. And it's like, okay, like that's that's a very like teenage boy's way of saying that, I guess. But
do not mess with his Riho.
I guess not. So then that happened, and then Gail Kim went on some podcast or something, and she's pretty much saying Kenny should have just reached out to me public or privately to discuss it rather than posting that, which I can agree with that one. That one was a little whatever. But then she's like, I don't even know what he meant by that. She wasn't really going to apologize for what she said though, because, well, and here's the thing where she kind of lost me a little bit. So she wasn't going to apologize for what she said. She was trying to clarify it by saying it was based on one match she watched from very early on in AEW. And then admits, I don't currently watch AEW's product, so I don't know what she's like now. And it's just like, okay, well, you can't really criticize something from years ago, 6 years ago, and then turn right around and show your ass by saying, yeah, I mean, I didn't like what they did on that one singular match from probably 6 years ago, and I haven't watched it since, so I don't know if they've done anything to help her. It's like,
You're
Gail, like,
you're not a
what do you?
credible critiquer at that point.
Yeah, like your critique and your criticism goes right out the window then, because everyone's gonna be like, well, what the fuck are you talking about then? You don't even watch the shit, and so
Yeah.
why? So it's once again a whole mess, and a lot of people just opening their mouths and saying words, and
I
should
just don't
probably
get
close
it.
your mouth.
Yeah, I just don't get it with Rio. I've never seen a problem with Rio. I've always been a big fan of her work, and I think the thing that people criticize her the most for her size and everything. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the most intriguing parts about her. The fact that she is always going to be undersized whenever she goes into the ring against any opponent. She's probably 95% of the time going to be the smaller opponent, and she just makes it work. You know,
Yeah.
she just puts on a great performance. Her matches with Nyla Rose are fantastic. You know, I'm a big fan of Rio, so I never understood the criticism of, well, she's too small to be a believable opponent in wrestling. I mean, is
Yeah.
that what they said? I mean, I'm sure they said the same thing about Rey Mysterio.
Well, and the worst part is that a lot of people called her out and being and pretty much saying like, well, what happened with you and Awesome Kong then? Was that
Yeah,
no different? Like it's the
yeah,
same fucking thing. Like I I don't think AEW is trying to like characterize her as a little girl or
no,
like
of course,
overly
yeah.
sexualize her in any way. I think it's just by default she's small. So of course she's going to be seen as like a 15-year-old essentially because she is pretty much as small as a 15-year-old, but I don't think they really like bought into that because I feel like it would have been really weird and people would have saw through it right away.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she's going on about, but once again, it's just one of those where sometimes we need to let the inside thoughts stay inside.
Yeah, seriously.
It kind of goes for Kenny too, though. It's like, all right, Kenny, you could have like
Kenny
not.
out here is simping for Riho.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's like I get it, but you could have also had more of an intelligent response to it than what you said because you also sounded like a 15-year-old boy, pretty much saying that. But
Sometimes it's just better to stay in silence and not give any negativity the noise that you know
yeah,
that it wants. You know, it's
because they're gonna
just
run with it.
yeah. You're always gonna look like the bad guy in somebody's eyes. You know, so
Yeah,
like it's again, it's nothing we haven't heard before, and to this point, it hasn't really been a detriment to Riho because if you ask any normal brain wrestling fan, they
well,
they see Riho and they're like, yeah, she's great. You know, that's why people
yeah,
come to her defense a lot because normal brained wrestling fans find her to be intriguing, find her to be a great performer. It's just I don't know. I think what it is ever since the whole Jim Cornette situation with Riho and the nastiness that brought about, then everybody's kind of on edge when it comes to stuff.
yeah, and I think unfortunately you also kind of have to add into the fact the whole tribalism thing where
Mm-hmm.
even if something is stupid, AEW fans are going to defend that to the death. Like, there's probably people defending that I Quit match, I would assume,
No, of
because they just
course.
don't want to admit that AEW was wrong about something. Because unfortunately, go figure, AEW was wrong about a lot of things. But here's the thing. WWE is also wrong about a lot of things, but
Mm-hmm.
there's just those subsections of fans that will just never admit that the company they love more than life itself is sometimes not good, and in some cases is horrendously morally corrupt. But you know what? That is their delusion, and if that's what helps them sleep at night, then sure. But I'd rather worry about other things that actually directly affect me. But what do we know? Like you said, we just sit here and talk about wrestling, but it's fine. All right, so why is Jerry Lynn playing the role of Billy Gunn with the whole Max Caster Anthony Bowens drama?
Mm,
I don't know. It's really just weird to me
right.
because I don't really think anybody was really. I don't think anybody was really like begging like those two to like reunite,
Mm-hmm.
but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but also just from what I could see, it was just like, okay, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. This whole feud thing is just kind of odd, or this whole just like drama is just strange to me, and do we
Yeah,
really need to see this?
it maybe goes back to the idea. Maybe we should have never split up the Acclaim in the first place, because they
Yeah,
haven't really been that interesting. Like they tried to make a big deal about Anthony Bowens going out on his own and being a single star, and that kind of just took a nosedive
terrible.
out of nowhere. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
So like, and you kind of, unless you march him out there on a consistent basis, at this point it would have to be either every week or every other week. People are not going to buy into him as a singles competitor. He's just going to be Anthony Bowens from the Acclaim. And
yeah,
now you just come to reside to that fact by sticking them together. Is just saying like, hey, we got nothing for you, so might as well put you guys back together and make a story out of that, you know. But
yeah,
it's like they're making a story out of it, but nothing is equating to a wrestling match or a wrestling rivalry with another team. It's just these
yeah,
makeshift matches. When are we going to get to the actual wrestling part of the story if we're trying to tell a story here?
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it almost makes you kind of wonder what would have happened if Bowen's like would have actually worked out.
Right.
Because but I also feel like he kind of just disappeared for a while and then they brought him back, so I didn't
Mm.
know what that was all about either, but I don't know. It's just yeah, the Acclaimed worked, but I feel like it was also just like nobody wanted to see Castor anymore, and so they kind of just gave them the gimmick of, okay, well, he's just a perpetual loser, but then of course the fans started loving that for whatever reason, and it's just like, okay, well, you guys kind of asked for this then. Like, you can't be surprised that they are trying to bring them back, but I don't know. It's just not entirely something I'm thrilled about, or but I'm also not like mad about it either. I just don't care.
Yeah,
I just like I
you're
just
indifferent
don't.
to it.
I'm indifferent to it. Like the Acclaim was always fun, and it was fun for a little bit, but then it was just kind of like, okay, like whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. All right, just let me. Okay, so the PWI top 500 came out. Any in the top 10 that you disagree with, whether included or omitted or their placement? So let me pull this up here. So we got, because I don't think they did the women, I think they just did the men as far as I can see. So, all right, so for top 10, we have, oh my God, technology work, please, one time. One moment.
I think I got it here
Okay.
if you
My
need it.
computer's being slow. All right. Well, I have it as well, so we can.
All right.
You can take it. I can take it. I don't care. Go for it.
You know, I'll take it. Coming in at number
Yeah.
1, we got Cody Rhodes. Coming in at number 2, we got John Moxley. Number 3, Gunther. Number 4, Hangman Adam Page. Number 5, Hiroki Goto. Number 6, Jey Uso. Number 7, Swerve Strickland. Number 8, Seth Rollins. Number 9, Mystico. And number 10, Will Ospreay. Just missing the cut, Okada at 11, which is kind of interesting. CM Punk at 15 didn't make the top
Yeah.
10.
Um. So just by looking at this, I feel like, as far as we'll say placements go, Osprey being that low on the list is kind of
Mm.
shocking. I'd have him a little bit higher.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe have him kind of around Swerve, but also in the same token, um, I'm just gonna say this. I'm sure to somebody this is gonna be a hot take or something. Jey Uso shouldn't be above Swerve Strickland, not at all.
Mm.
Like I get Uso's got the yeet thing. That's pretty much it. But if you let's do this. We take away the characters, we take away the personas, the whatever, and you just go based off of wrestling ability. Jay would not be above Swerve. There's no fucking way.
Ooh.
Like I'm sorry. Like, Swerve is absolutely the better wrestler than Jay. And I think it's pretty safe to say the character and the crowd loves doing the whole yeet thing is probably the reason why he's higher. And let's be honest, he shouldn't be above Will Ospreay either.
Mm.
He shouldn't. I think he should probably be 10, but that's just me. As far as omissions or additions, I don't really think there's anybody I would put on there.
LA Knight at 22, Braun
Eh,
Breaker at 24.
yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Um,
Um, I also don't think there's really anybody I would take off. Like, I get, like, I mean, it's making it sound like I would take Jey Uso off the top 10. I wouldn't. I would just put him lower because I just don't think he should be higher than Osprey or Swerve.
mm,
But again, that's just me. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, and everything else pretty much makes sense. It's just I feel like probably once you go from like 6 to 10, I think that's where we should probably move some things around. But other than that, I mean, the top 5 is pretty self-explanatory. I can't really argue with any of those.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd maybe move Seth Rollins a little higher than the 8th
yeah,
spot, but
yeah, I would have too.
that'll probably be my only change really.
Yeah, it's just funny that I feel like the top 5 is not an issue, but then like the bottom 5 is the issue.
Yeah.
But again, that's just our personal opinion, and I'm sure someone's gonna disagree with that, and that's fine. But that's just things in
You mean we're
general. There's
not
always,
gonna agree with somebody on the internet and they're not gonna agree with us?
especially in the internet wrestling community. I
Oh
know it's
my gosh.
a very hard concept, but I'm gonna I'm gonna need you to have to try. Just do your best. But yeah, I think that was pretty much the only things I would change.
Yeah.
But did we read the story about how Cody wanted to drop the belt to Drew McIntyre prior match before their Saturday night's main event match? I did not see that, but I also wouldn't be surprised, and I'm honestly kind of shocked that that didn't end up happening because yeah, this reign with Cody, I think the issue is that they're pulling him in 5,000 different directions. So
Yeah.
the fact that your champion's barely on TV doing anything is not great.
Yeah.
And you can't make the argument of, oh, part-timer this, part-timer that. Well, he's not a part-timer, and you're kind of pulling the part-timer stuff with him. So not great. I think Drew's been doing great, so the fact that they haven't given him the title is a little mind-boggling to me, but and I mean, if that is true, because again, you got to take those articles and whatever with a grain of salt. If that would be true, I really wouldn't be surprised because I could see Cody just feeling like that would be for the better of the company as a whole if the title was more on TV, but clearly, that was not the case.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm just kind of when it comes to Drew McIntyre, I don't know. Like, I'm not fully on board with him, but like, I think what it is that's bugging me right now is that anytime he's on TV, he's constantly bitching and moaning about how he was screwed out of the title this time by this person.
Yeah.
If it's not CM Punk, it's Roman Reigns or somebody from the bloodline, and he hates that family, and you know, it's just like it's just the constant bitching and moaning. I think maybe when he finally achieves that mountaintop where he gets the world championship and we don't have to hear that bitching and moaning, maybe it'll be better. You know, but that's just what's killing me now. So maybe I would want him to have the title just to stop all that.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like that they would just bring like the Scottish psychopath kind of persona back. It wouldn't be as bad because that kind of Drew just wouldn't be complaining. He would just be like destroying everybody with a pulse because he's not getting his way. But yeah, no, I guess we're just going with the bitter internet meme Drew, I guess. Like, that's just, I mean, it was funny at first, but I think the fact that they're still doing it is kind of like, okay, this is kind of running its course. But yeah, maybe him winning the title will finally shut him up and we can move on to bigger and better things. But clearly that's not happening yet. Maybe it'll happen on Saturday. I hope, but we'll see. We'll see if that's finally the night. Are we surprised Dijak hasn't been picked up by TNA or AEW? A little bit. I mean, I feel like he kind of just fell off for a while because, I mean, I also haven't really been extensively paying attention to the indies, so I'm sure he was probably in and around the indies doing whatever. But yeah, the
Right.
fact that he hasn't been picked up by anyone's kind of shocking. But yeah, I don't know why. It's just, I mean, especially AEW because the best comparison obviously to him would have been Keith Lee, and I don't know what's going on with him. I don't think anybody knows what's going on with him.
Yeah,
But
he's very tight-lipped when it comes to whatever's going on with Keith Lee.
yeah, exactly. So I feel like you need, I mean, you don't need, but it would be cool to have another like very big but mobile kind of guy, and Dijak can do that. So yeah, the fact that they haven't done that yet, it's a little mind-boggling to me, but maybe they just don't see him in their creative plans. I don't know.
I don't know. It could also be we can't discredit the idea that it might just be a personal choice. Right now,
Yeah.
Dijak is working in MLW. He's half tag team champions with Bishop Dyer, formerly known as Baron Corbin. You know, so he's found some success there. It's not like he's completely fallen off the map. So it could be a personal choice in looking at it and going, you know, I'm trying to maximize my star power and who I am. And if I go to AEW, I might get lost in the shuffle. Dijak would be a great fit in TNA. I think
So.
I think he's a clear-cut fit for TNA, but again, it could also be a personal choice that he just feels more comfortable working MLW and kind of working their style and their schedule. But yeah, I think he's a tremendous talent. So wherever he ends up, they're definitely getting a prized possession there.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like to add to what you were saying, I think the problem is everyone falls into that trap of wrestler gets released or leaves insert company here, so they automatically have to immediately go to other insert company here.
Right.
Like, you don't have to, because I feel like even if that would be like a good fit, that doesn't mean the timing's right for it either. You might
Right.
have to end up like maybe biding your time or waiting a little bit, and then maybe a couple months or a year or so down the road, you've been doing the indies, like reestablishing your name there, and then maybe that's the right time. But I just feel like it doesn't have to always be such an immediate thing because I get it. I think they, again, I'm just assuming because I've never been in that position before, but I feel like it's also you maybe as a person who just gets fired or released kind of has that panic moment of I don't want to fall into irrelevancy. And obviously everybody knows my name right now. So if I just like, strike while the iron's hot, then, they won't have a reason to forget me or they won't be able to forget me because I'm still like working or whatever. But yeah, I just feel like sometimes you just have to bide your time. Because again, just because the fit's right and the fit will be right doesn't mean it's not right at the current time. Sometimes
Right.
it's all about timing at the end of the day. So maybe he just doesn't feel like, okay, well, maybe this version of AEW or TNA is not good for me now, but maybe it will be in 6 months from now or maybe a year from now. But who's to
Yeah.
say? All right, so we got two more questions, so we're almost done. What happens first? Does the Judgment Day finally implode, or does Arya turn on Soul?
Mm.
I feel like at this rate, I don't think Seven Judgment Day's ever blowing up because we feel like they've could have blown up 5 times by now and haven't. I'm gonna probably say Zarya turning on Soul's gonna happen first, and I'm gonna cry when it happens because it's gonna suck. But yeah, I feel like that one more than any. Well, but I think it also depends on. I guess it also depends on when Liv Morgan comes back because I feel like her coming back is probably going to be the beginning of the end for everything with the Judgment Day. So, but that's not happening until supposedly beginning of next year, if I heard correctly. So, I don't think they're going to wait that long for Zarya and Soul, but I guess it also depends on how long Soul's not going to be out with her knee.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with I think Zarya will turn on Soul first, or one will turn on the other. I think, but either one.
why do we want such negativity? Why do we want
I
people
don't.
why do
I
we want
don't
people
want it.
turning on it?
Mike just likes chaos. We know this.
And Mike's a
Consider the
cranky
sword.
old man. He likes the chaos of everything.
Yeah. I
don't know.
but I don't know. I just feel like it's also kind of again, I feel like it just pretty much depends on who like comes back from their injury quicker.
Right.
But I feel like it also is you don't know for sure that Liv's coming back at the beginning of next year. They just said they were hoping. I think that was pretty much how they worded it. They were hoping she'd be back by the beginning of next year, but that doesn't mean she's going to.
Right.
So
I think
I'll just say for the sake of it, sorry, and turn on Soul, and I'm gonna be mad either way, but gonna hate it.
The more interesting story is definitely when Liv comes back, because she's got a lot that she has to look at Roxanne and be like, hey, you kind of tried to take over my position while I was gone. And then she could look at Raquel and be like, Raquel, you basically, as soon as I left you, you kind of just dumped me as soon as I got hurt and all that stuff. So I think that's going to be more interesting. I think that's going to be more interesting, and that's definitely the route they're going to go, because they can't have Liv Morgan just come back and then everything is, oh, okay, Liv Morgan's back. Like there's going to be some consequence to what's been going on. So I don't know if it's going to lead to the Judgment Day imploding, but definitely a lot of changes.
Yeah, a lot of drama.
Yeah, for sure.
They do love the drama. Mike loves the drama, whether we like it or not. It's just agent of chaos. That's what he is. All right. So his last question is not as chaotic. Would we buy a car from Marco Stunt? Because he sells cars now, obviously. Yeah. My God, that was a funny video. I had to admit I laughed. Yeah, sure. Why the hell not? Right? Like.
I feel like
maybe
Marco wouldn't lead us wrong.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be pretty truthful, and I feel like that's a very, very rare thing when it comes to car salesmen and people. I feel like they are very deceitful and very whatever. And I feel like he seems too like pure-hearted to do that. So
he'll give you
buy
a fair deal.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? I used to get thrown around for a living. Now I'm just throwing these deals around. It's like, oh, okay, well, you got me. It's like, all right, you got me on that one.
Yeah,
that was kind of funny.
I would trust Marco Stunt. I think he's an honest salesman.
Yeah, I trust him more than other people. So, yeah, why the hell not?
All right.
All right, those are all the questions. We did it.
Nice.
We made it before the power outage.
We made
still on.
Yeah, we made it before the power outage. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this rapid fire episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. And like I said, usually what we do is answer your questions. So we kind of leave the door open to give you guys a show that you would want to hear, rather than just the typical wrestling podcast where they're just recapping stuff and going over stuff. We kind of add a little bit of variety and leave the door open to let you guys direct the show. So we thank you guys for your input and your participation in what we do.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. And just to let you guys know, when we do these questions episode, usually we record Tuesday evening and put out the show on Wednesday, but anytime we do these questions episodes, I ask for questions on Monday. So make sure you're following along on social media, particularly on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @Ringside Rundown, and on Monday afternoons I ask for questions to be sent in for the podcast. It doesn't have to be just one question. You can ask more than one if you want to participate. We're always looking for new people to participate, so don't be afraid. Once again, if you have a Twitter account, follow us at Ringside Rundown. And every Monday when we do a questions episode, I post up the tweet on Twitter. And we do the podcast, and this podcast can be found on any podcast platform you look out there. It can be found on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Audible, Goodreads, basically on all podcast platforms you can find this podcast. And if you can't find it, then like I said, hit us up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Ringside Rundown, and we'll give you a link to the podcast on the platform of your choosing. But remember, you have to give us back the silver platter that we give you the link on, because it belongs to Shay's mom, and she's kind of the one that directed Darby Allin in this I Quit match, because she's just as crazy. So, I wouldn't want to mess with her. She's like the Darby Allin of moms.
She's the reason why the commission had to step in and say no blood, no nothing.
There you go.
There
you go. Give her back the silver platter once you're done with it, and you have your link, and you can listen to the podcast. It's also available full episodes on our YouTube channel. If you don't have a platform that you use, you can find it on our YouTube channel at Ringside Run Pod on YouTube. Come join us there. We have over 1,800 subscribers on YouTube. Our Facebook is blowing up.
Of all things, too.
Yeah,
Facebook.
Of all things, yeah. Trust me. Anytime something blows up on Facebook, you got a lot of weirdos coming your way, which is definitely the case. But follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Ringside Rundown, and join the fun there. Just to let you guys know, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for all WWE and AEW programming, I do live watches. I multi-stream on Twitch and YouTube. So if you want to hang out with me while there's some wrestling on your TV and chat wrestling, do so by going to twitch.tv/Ringside Rundown or youtube.com/@RingsideRunPod. Follow or subscribe, and you can hang out with me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're watching some wrestling, having a good time, having some laughs. Mike's always in there scaring me with jump scare noises. So it's a good time. It's a good time. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
You can find me on my wrestling Twitter at ShayRingside_. We always say it's just like Erik's, except with my name instead. I had to copy the homework.
Yeah, she copied basically. I gave her a little bit of my swagger, and she just ran with it.
I do my best.
Yeah. All right. So next week we're going to be back with another episode talking everything that happened on Saturday night's main event, and also taking your questions. So make sure you have those questions to ask us for the next episode. Until then, my name is Erik Vasquez for Shay Hickson. This is the Ringside Rundown podcast, and we thank you for listening, guys. Take care.
See you later, guys.